Start. Hi everyone, welcome back again to the Network State and New Countries webinar series. And today's topic is the new global ecosystem. So we are having our webinar number 6, and I'm very happy to have distinguished speakers today. From different disciplines and different backgrounds and from different parts of the world. Uh, Many people in the network state ecosystem know them. Greg, Ray, and Fabo have been active in the field for quite a long time and trying to build very futuristic but very necessary and present actually establishments. So since we had these 5 webinars during the last 5 months, so we kind of tried to cover the power of network states and new countries, the land issue, the psychological and ideological issues, and of course, trying to understand how we should position ourselves vis-a-vis the nation states, because in the end of the day, they still exist, and we are dealing with the Westphalia system. We understand that it is an outdated system, but we are still dealing with the Westphalia system. But what I would like, to talk before giving the floor to our distinguished speakers, what I would like to talk is actually about how to position ourselves as a new global ecosystem, because as Ilya Alexa from Malta, maybe some of you know him from the Internet Nation, right? Ilya Alexa is from Internet Nation. So Ilya used to tell something very interesting to me, that there are 3 establishments in the world, like nation states, international corporations, and religious organizations. So those are these 3 big establishments that people follow or people are under. Their power or whatever, right? And people who do not want to be under neither of them are the 4th establishment. And this is what I want to talk about. This is the 4th establishment. People who want to build network states, intentional communities, free cities. All these new things, new countries. This is the 4th establishment that tries to challenge the very foundations of the Westphalia system, and again these corporations and religious establishments who also kind of serve the same system as of now, or as the history has shown to us. So that's why this ecosystem, new global ecosystem, needs to be developed, definitely. Still, we have a long way to go, but I truly believe that we have reached a level when at least we should form a coordination group to talk to the outsiders. This is a very important thing in terms of politics. My background is politics and international relations, by the way, for those who don't know yet. I do think that uh, in order to enter into the international arena, international stage, you have to deal, with those who you don't want. Uh, uh, who you don't even want to cooperate with. This is the way politics works. So we are not here to invent a new bicycle, because it wouldn't exist. Because this is the way the human psychology works. So you need to talk to them. You need to engage also what they do, engage in what they do, what their projects are, so that you can also kind of get new followers among also these people. And one of the most important things here is that is that this new platform or new coordination group must be politically mature to talk, I mean, to the outsiders. Like imagine, I was talking about the United Nations and this nation states Westphalian system. Imagine that they already take us into account, and they want to talk. I mean, we need to position ourselves politically mature enough so that a lot of citizens within their circles would be very interested in us, and even a lot of people within their elites, because a lot of elites among those establishments also understand that they are in decline. Of course, I mean, this system is in decline, so they also want to understand what to do. And the most uh, beautiful part is that the American acting military officer, uh, Bryce Johnston, published an article in late December 2022 about the network states, where he claims that network states are going to be everywhere, even in Washington, D.C., with military power, even. That is very interesting assessment. So that's why, I mean, we are not there yet, I mean, with military power, but still, I think we have reached a level uh, where, I mean, there are many, I mean, communities, groups, so we can at least create a politically mature coordination group so that we can talk to the outsiders and we can get people from the outsider circles as well. So this is my understanding to move forward more aggressively, but in positive sense, aggressively, of course, and faster. And I would be very happy to be inside that type of group. If there are people who would be interested in, I would be very happy to be and to coordinate at least. I mean, some relationship with outsiders. I mean, with nation states, with governments. I have some experience like that, but still, the most important thing, in my opinion, is alongside that showing traction. We need to show traction. If we don't show traction, this will become a consecutive talk, consecutive webinar, consecutive gathering. So traction is the key to success. I mean, traction and politically mature coordination group are key to success. And we can definitely, after that, get the critical mass we want. I think all of us want a critical mass for this type of for the fourth establishment. This, as I said. Okay, so um, I will finish here, and each speaker will have 10 minutes. I mean, if you have presentation, so you feel free to share it, and after that, we will also have a questions and answers Q&A session, so that we can kind of interact with each other and discuss some stuff. So, Greg, stage is yours. Please welcome and share your experience and what you thought about this new global ecosystem. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm excited to be here and excited to talk about network states. Over the last year, I have been in touch with many people, it seems, an increasing number of people who are interested to create these online communities, people around the world. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you a little bit of my background and then talk about what we've been able to accomplish and also what's going on around the world. Hold on. This is not I don't want to share the whole screen. I'm going to share one of the windows. Okay. Can you guys see this?
Control your own hosting.
Can you guys see?
Yeah, we're checking it.
Control your own platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
control your own brand, control your own platform. Okay. So there's many names for online community. And I think the network state got popularized by this guy, right? Balaji Srinivasan. He was the CTO of Coinbase, and together with the CEO of Coinbase, as well as some investors like Fred Wilson and Naval Ravikant, he actually launched a fund last, I think it was December, anyway, late, yeah, 2023. And one of the first companies they invested in was actually us. So I'm very happy to be partnering with them. Uh, Balaji's all the time on Twitter talking about the nation state, sorry, the network state. I first heard about him actually through this guy. Have any of you heard of Nas Daily? His name is Nusser, actually. This guy, right? He covers many things, and one of his things was network state. This was literally like 2 years ago, and I remember watching this video and thinking, oh, this is very much like what we're doing, except a few stages ahead, you know? So you guys can all watch this video. I'm not going to play much right now, except to say he was the reason I actually heard about Balaji in the first place.
Where the more countries that recognize you, the more countries that will recognize you, the more you can grow.
Right. So the more countries recognize you, the more countries will recognize you. And so it's like the network effect. Now, here's the interesting thing. There's some technologies that allow us to self-organize in the world. Of course, they're owned by massive corporations like Google. Currently, we're using Zoom, right? And there's always these concerns. What if these technologies are being spied on by nation states? Like people worry about China, you know, the servers there. It turns out that Telegram is actually has servers in the UAE, you know, and many other things like this. Anyway, so even though I like Telegram, I like Pavel Durov, for example, I still think that it's weird when everything is sort of centralized, you know, even though I like his platform very much. His latest thing on Telegram, let me just show this, Durov, Uzbekistan. Let me see if I can find this. Here we go. Durov basically says that over 70% of Telegram is on, over 70% of Uzbekistan uses Telegram, okay? It's kind of like with WeChat in China, 80%. And so Durov is very impressive. I mean, hey, look at his body right here, right? He works out. But the thing is, though, are we going to rely on one person as being our last line of defense, right? It would be very nice to have decentralized software. So years ago, I started doing this thing where I started a company building decentralized software. Everyone can own their own software. They're running on their hardware of their choice, right? And it can do a lot of things. I'll just really quickly show you. For example, here, conferences. In my opinion, conferences are like the baby network states because they already invite people with common interests. They already have events. They can have events online. They can have events all over the world, okay? I've done things for political campaigns, including some presidential candidates in the United States, like Andrew Yang. When he ran in 2020, I met him here in New York. And so I helped him to create not just events and not just organize people to knock on doors, right, and all these things, but also create decentralized chapters around the world, right, like Yang Gangs. That's what they called them, you know, Yang Gangs. And these are real people, right? These are actually people in all kinds of places who support Andrew Yang. So, for example, I don't know, Conrad, random person. He's a filmmaker, writer, actor, former engineer. He designed Bootstrap's basic income trial. So all of these people are interested in basic income. The difference between Zoom and what we have is that when you press buttons like this, you could be directly on the website and you could interact with people. You could have your own show, right? You can share your screen. So everything I'm doing on Zoom, I could just as easily do here, which I'll just do to show you really quickly. So here I am sharing my screen, and I can go ahead and switch to side screen sharing, and boom, I can have a show. I can invite people. So we took this really, really, really far. We even have P2P broadcast, which is a decentralized peer-to-peer broadcast, which means if I share this link with other people and I share it, let's say somebody decides to visit this link, they'll actually see a live stream, and it's seamless, but it's like decentralized peer-to-peer, Okay, so there's no servers necessarily. We're just sending it to each other. There's no way to really shut down the live stream, and that's a big thing. A lot of people start out with network state with these things because they don't want to get deplatformed. A lot of times they're talking on Twitter, they're talking somewhere, and whoops, now they're limited in what they can say. So people start out, but once they start out, they're like, hey, we want to attract all these other people who support me, right? Who support, say, Andrew Yang or Robert F. Kennedy or whoever's running for president in the United States or anywhere in any country. So all of these things, these are real people connecting over common interests. So the next stage is, of course, how can you get them to connect around the world, right? I really do believe that this is basically online communities. We have apps that are used by millions of people around the world, in over 100 countries, I believe. Here's India. Here's all the reviews we have in India. Sometimes I don't know what people are saying because I can't read Chinese, but it seems they're very happy with our apps. But what they basically do is get the software, which doesn't run. It's not controlled by Elon. It's not controlled by Zuck. It's not controlled by Pavel Durov, right? And so that's us. But it's not only us. WordPress powers, I think, 40% of all websites in the world. It keeps going up. Now it's 43%. But imagine that every 4 in 10 websites is powered by this open source technology. The web itself was a revolutionary technology and medium, right? Revolutionary platform. Before the web, you had things like America Online, right? You had CompuServe, something like this. Is that even still around? I don't even know. But they've all turned into just a portal on the web. But they used to be a big, like, centralized network, and instead of Mark Zuckerberg, it was someone like Steve Case from Hawaii who started AOL, all right, America Online. Similarly, in France, you had things like Minitel. I don't know if anyone here knows it or remember, but if you're above a certain age, you would know the Minitel was a local network in France that people used. It was text-based. My point is, once the web came along, everyone switched to it. But the key is that not the end user, not the regular person switched to it, but the content creator. Groups like NewYorkTimes.com decided, hey, we don't want to publish everything behind, say, x.com/New York Times, right? Sure, they have their own page on x.com and facebook.com and youtube.com, right? But it's very limited. They're living in someone else's world, and what they want was to have their own. So New York Times was one of the earliest investors in WordPress. Of course, they're using modified versions of WordPress, and so is everyone who actually wants to make a business like TechCrunch, right? Or Mashable. These were run on WordPress as well. So there needs to be open source software to help create the technology for these network states, not just for reading stuff, but like I had here, the thing I was showing you, sharing, calls, communication, shows. And then, of course, finally, there's Web 3, right? With Web 3, there's blockchain. And what blockchain allows us to do is go even further than choosing a host, because you still have a host here. You still have something where all
Greg,
this
sorry for
information
interrupting.
goes into.
Could you just sum up,
Please.
because we are running out of time? Please sum
Oh,
up.
running out of time. So
Okay.
I think that conferences that are taking place, there's going to be a conference in Singapore, the Network State Conference, which I guess you guys could read about it. These conferences will have their own apps. And once we have their own apps, the next phase is connecting people around the world who are interested in that thing. In this case, happens to be network states. Once you have that, then I think with the technology of things like identity and things like money, which I didn't get into, I'll do that some other time, we can give a lot of people an identity, a money supply, and frankly, a lot of these people need it, like stateless refugees, like the Rohingya people from Myanmar, and so on. We need the stateless people who have no ID, nothing. They absolutely need it. And as for the rest of us, it would be great if we could self-organize and we didn't have to rely on these giant nation states, which end up creating wars and violence and all these kinds of things. You cannot have violence online. And so that's the cool thing, is if we can use the online medium, we can self-organize, and then we can create conferences and events around the world, and hopefully eventually get recognition from these other groups called the nation states in the world.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Thanks a lot for a very interesting presentation and intervention. Ray, stage is yours now. Please, if you have anything to share with your presentation, or stage is yours. Okay.
Okay. Nice to meet you, everybody. Greg, a little bit maybe I can argue with you that we can actually harm themselves and ourselves online. And right now, what's defense tech is building, it's exactly what it is, with drones, with AI, with everything online also. So yeah, but what
I'll just say there has to be a physical component. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. But we already connected this, the same as we could trying to connect to other people online. So about me, I'm Ray Svitla. I'm running futurestate.tv. So it's a constantly research project where we started from just think tank, then we created a venture builder and created a couple of projects. One of them, Bubbles, which is running quite good right now, and already have first paying clients and first investor. So yeah. But where we right now, it's futurestate.tv, it's media, and it's events. So we, maybe I can share my screen. Yeah, so we already created a couple of events in Lisbon, is in London, and in Berlin. And right now, what we're trying to do is a new event that called, do you see my screen?
Yes, we are seeing your screen.
Yes.
Cool. So, yeah, and right now we're trying to focus on Future State Congress. So it will take place on December, and we're trying to bring different parts of what everybody called network states, from tech park, from digital nomad parts, from the science part, and what I'm trying to present today is these resilient nations, and where what we call network states are coming from diasporas and people who needed something. So originally I'm from
2020.
Sorry.
This app.
Sorry. So
there was a YouTube video or something, I think, was on. I don't know. Okay, continue, right?
Okay, so originally I'm from Belarus, and I'm trying to present you how Belarusians right now are building kind of network state, what we're talking about. So in 2020, we had a really huge protest where thousands and hundreds of thousands different people were on the streets, and we try to go to voice of democracy. There is democratic voices that try to go to presidential campaign. I promoted Valery Tsepkala. He's on the left of the screen, and that is why I was pushed out of the country, because it's tough to promote somebody in politics in Belarus, where it's dictatorship. So we have used technology to understand that our voices was stolen. So it's a website that called golos.com or voice.com, where everybody who voted on the presidential campaign on 2020 make photographs of their elections for whom they voted. And that is how technology help us to understand that, all our voices was really stolen, and everybody around the world also says that yeah, it was basically stolen, and that is why so many people go out to the streets, and technology helped to do this. Technologies and online stuff that we created and this civil tech help us to do this. But unfortunately, President go wild and go very brutal things to protesters. That is why most of the people was pushed out of the country. So just to understand how violent it was and how violent it is right now, it's just by numbers, it's much more political prisoners than in Russia. Where it is war right now, but Belarus is 9 million people and Russia is 250,000 million people. So it's quite a different situation in our countries right now. We are closer to North Korea right now than to Russia, I guess. So yeah, and being political prisoner or just prisoner in Belarus is not very fancy thing. You're going to a little bit dirty things. That is why it's not so good, and that is why 500,000 Belarusians right now just in Europe. So we're trying to escape this for sure. And what's interesting that all these Belarusians right now that didn't have this political things previously because we had dictatorship for 20 years, and Lukashenko tried to push everything outside of the country. But after we understand how it was, and after technology helped us to see the real numbers, something different happens. So people who go outside the country starting to do their own embassies. So it's kind of interesting thing that people outside the country trying to do their own just embassies to communicate with other nations, to communicate with other governments, to represent themselves, but not by tyranny like Lukashenko, but by people who are more legitimate. For example, here is our Svetlana Tikhanovskaya. She's elected president of Belarus, who was also pushed out of the country. And we know that she was elected because of technology and how everything was put online. And we even have a presidential council. So basically, it's parliament in exile of Belarus right now. And it's an interesting part because, yeah, we always have like a parliament exile, a president exile, but right now we have technology. And like Greg said already, technology really can help us to build something on top of that. And what's interesting happened right now, it's happened just months ago. We have a real election, first real election in 20 years in Belarus for our parliament in exile. And it was debates, it was like a real election. We didn't experience this in tens of years. And we made this happen just because we were pushed out of the country, and we have no other way to communicate with other nations and how to serve ourselves. And how it was, it already happened. We had made the selections. So we use QAC to understand, okay, these people are Belarusians and they can vote. And we used zero knowledge proof protocol and app that called Vogdoni. It's basically Aragon's voting tool to vote for this. Why we made this happen like this? Not because it's fancy or it's cool or it's techy. No, because it's necessary. Because if somebody understand inside of Belarus that you voted for this, you will go for jail for sure, and you can go for years. And that is not fancy, as I already told a little bit earlier. That is why we made different layers of anonymity and understanding that okay, nobody can understand that you vote, but these votes are real and legitimate, and everybody can check this online on chain. And that is why it was happened. And it was also first election that was made with not just on chain and community, but also represented by politicians. We have 7 people from different politicians who saw that this election was legitimate, and one of them is a French parliamentary who quite known in France, for example. I for sure can give you a link on everything of this. And right now we already have, for example, a passport program where we're trying to create our own passport outside of Belarus, and it's already.
Ray, sorry for interrupting. Just try to sum up. Yeah.
So yeah. I will definitely can send you a link on everything of this, but what I'm trying to say is that there are really different ways how to build what we call network state. For me, network state is kind of a movement, and everybody can join it. And as I'm a representative of Belarusians, and it's a really interesting case how people outside of the country can build own nation, new nation, and can set up it online, and then help people inside of the country also, and then put it back. And that is kind of much more easy. We have this examples with Estonia with a really small population. We have, for example, Taiwan and Andrew Tang, who are making this plurality stuff and G0V stuff in Taiwan. And that is who we're trying to also put on the one table on Cyprus on December to make it future state Congress, and how we can help each other to make this. Because yeah, like Vahram said on the starting of the meeting, for sure we can go to United Nations, but it's will be hard to speak with them because we are not so huge, for example. But when we're talking about not just Belarusians, for example, or not just Armenians, but we're trying to communicate and put it together and making it like our united things, it became more legitimate and it's became more powerful. That is why I believe we need to make these events online with Greg, offline with future states, and Balaji on Singapore also. And thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Ray, for a very interesting presentation. And yeah, I mean, since I'm also from the post-Soviet space, I can understand. I can vividly remember. I mean, the political movements in Belarus, in Armenia, in all post-Soviet space, and I can understand what it means to be in opposition in this type of countries. Of course, Armenia now is another case. It's very different now. We changed them, but of course, I mean, it doesn't make things easier for us as of now. Okay, Fabo, stage is yours, please. We are going to Latin America. Fabo, stage is yours.
For sure. Sí, lo que se llama América Latina o Latinoamérica, it's a various topic like what we can talk about, right? I have a little speak English. I just read every day, like years ago in English, but I don't speak with so much people on this. I work on digital services here in Antares, Lima. I study architecture and programming. I had various names. I moved out from Brazil and I put myself in Fabo Hax. So it's so funny what what I'm passing by, right? I invested like 7 Bitcoins in 2018. Since then, I was researching about blockchain, about AI. Before that, I was doing 3D printing because I love to build stuff also. Before that, I was talking years ago to before like more than 1,000 people and about politics, about how to be a opposition of a narco state, basically. So I have a presentation right here, very simple. Okay, I'm gonna put it, share screen. So I'm very grateful to be invited. Thank you, Vahram. I met him like a year ago. We did a video also. One moment. Whiteboard is standard. Sure, okay. Can you check it? Yeah.
We can see your screen, yeah.
So this is Suyux, a word invented like a combination of axis and the Suyo that in Quechua is a region or a nation or a territory, right? What the Incas understand about territory is very interesting. We are just doing cultural appropriation, right? Because we are here. I'm from various ethnics descendants, and I have the right, I think, to do that with the people we we do this stuff. So we got into this world, like we liked it, we vote about it, and we are DAO basically. We a decentralized autonomous organization that research and develops automated state solutions. In few words, is public services as vending machine, right? We love how to get a coffee of a vending machine, kind of. And I think we need also architecture as a public service to build habitats for ours, right? This is a pretty disturbing image, I know. We live with this very regularly on this country, on this space managed by state. We are with a code deprecated. It's making so much damage. So what we are building now is something like an intervention of these two, right? We are making a GIF right now in real time. What we are doing? We were called ADM before, but here we are writing down us also to do propaganda for this new kind of organization, right? Also here is death to the fiat. It's muerte al fiat. It's kind of troubling, right? I know we have a lot of difference, cultural differences, but I enjoy the difference. I enjoy diversity, and I love to hear all you guys. Here is just a way to express ourselves. Yeah. We had two domains to use that tone, to use that electricity. So yeah, it's a lot of pop culture. It's like we just do it because we want it, right? Because we are just responding to our reality. So we have a proposal. We are applying for grants here. That is called SIX. It's very parecido. It's very similar to the idea of doing decentralized bill sharing, tokenized rewards, right, for contests and that stuff. So this is a mock-up. You're reading about Stiglitz. And this is what inequality price, the price of inequality, right? Is in this book, the reward system is not necessarily meritocratic, but it really benefits the school drive, science, and innovation. It's very true because that's basically what the monetary system, the chain of distribution of money on state is all about is to fund violence and to fund management of territory, right? Then to make public services for the people is not really their business. So but they have a game when you must tell them to the people that, yeah, we're gonna build the public service for you more. They do it at some level, but it's not a priority. So what we're gonna, well, you're just hanging out with this is just a few days ago, weeks, is to just make a decentralized stories with tokenized sharing, nodalized creation for artists, architects, etc. So that's the thing. If you want to check about it, you can go to this. We've been doing a research on the Office of Informatics of the National University of Engineering here in Lima. That is one of the most prestigious universities. I've been to, I was there for a few weeks. We did a kind of metaverse, like the half of the university we built up. And it's so spatial, it's a nice platform. So it was called MetaWiki. We just checking on how to explore these capabilities of making classes, virtual classes for people on blockchain also later, right? So we did a token that is called Unit. Yeah, this is real. This is right. This is based on planes, blueprints. So the university is very rough. I know that this is the Commodore is based on where people just go to eat. And here's the stadium, etc. Right? So yeah, we did that project. We do this DAO. We have just the people there: Evelyn, Eric, Fabo, Jimmy, Pedro, Brian. So we have our contract. That is some optimism. And there, well, we have also the token rights. So we rewarded people for this currency, really. So there are people that spend time, energy into be rewarded with this unit because we measure like a kind of volumes, right, per square meter. You can earn a certain quantity of units. If you build some of the metaverse we were doing it.
Fabo, please,
So,
sorry
yeah.
for interrupting. Try to sum up. Try to sum up because we are running out of time. Yeah.
Yes, that's the time, right? Yeah. Okay. So what we are gonna make is a very introspective, right? Now, exploration of making something similar what Greg said. So I love to be engaged into further coordinations. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Fabo. Thanks a lot for very interesting. We are definitely going to explore more about the project that you just presented. Okay, so basically we have just some 13 minutes, we can say, because we started at 5 minutes late. So we have 13 minutes, so a couple of questions and answers. Fabo, please, could you please remove the screen sharing? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yep.
Good. So basically, yeah, I mean, thanks a lot for the speakers for very interesting presentations. What I would suggest is, yeah, we have 13 minutes and questions and answers, just a discuss with each other. And I see that Joshua has a question now. Joshua, please, welcome.
Hey, hello, Vahram. Always a pleasure. Nice to participate here. I have a question, I think, starting on the tech side a little bit, maybe for Greg and any other input there. My philosophy has always been autonomy and independence on my stacks, my tech stacks. And so I really think it's important, what I think I understand Greg is introducing here, where you really want to build the things within your own ecosystem, right? In your own servers if you can and whatnot. Maybe what do you think, Greg, is like, what is the biggest benefit there, or what is the impetus for really trying to focus those things within your own controlled space digitally? And then, yeah, what are some of the fast tracks? You're making a solution for this right now that sounds like it layers on WordPress, but what is really the drive here, and what should people be thinking about when they're building their projects and using their own systems, building your proprietary stacks versus using a lot of other solutions that are out there?
That's a great question. By the way, we built it from scratch. We didn't build it on WordPress. So we're sort of like WordPress for Web 2 and Web 3. But why do you need that? Let me know if are you guys losing me, or you see me? I'm just
We see you.
internet
Yeah,
connection
yeah, we see
a
you.
bit
We see you.
Okay, so it's a game changer. First, there's several reasons. I'll just list them really quickly. The first one is when everything is on your site, you're in control. You can decide how it looks. You can control all the database. No one has access to your contacts. And all of the relationships that you spent, thinking about all the time that went into acquiring those relationships, of networking, of getting people to listen to your course, right? Or whatever it is. If you're just giving it away to YouTube or Twitter, they are benefiting from essentially this. I mean, Twitter literally derives value because celebrities are on it. And celebrities spent a lot of money and time maintaining that audience, right? Similarly, Netflix and others, Marvel superheroes, billions of dollars are spent to get people excited there. So everyone from large brands to presidents like Donald Trump made Truth Social because he forked Mastodon, his team forked Mastodon. They need to have their own because A, you want to control things. B, you don't want to get deplatformed. And C, also, is that rather than having your content be on all these platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, right? How about you put only teasers there, the first 2 minutes, the highlights, and then everyone goes to your site and joins your membership, right? So you no longer, and then finally, if you're talking about banking and payments, you don't need Patreon because you could have Web3, you could have blockchain. So it's almost like your app, your coin, your community, everyone, when they're in your community, they're not being sold your competitors. But if they go to YouTube/you, then on the right, they're going to see all your competitors' videos, and very quickly you're giving up your audience. So it makes sense from a business perspective. It makes sense from a control perspective. And frankly, it's just more healthy because your interests are your own and you're in control of your own destiny. That's basically what it is.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Any other questions? Maybe we can. By the way, the speakers can also ask questions. I mean, about the presentations as well. I have a number of questions, but Greg, go ahead.
I have a question for Ray. I'm very impressed by anyone who creates KYC and zero knowledge proofs for voting. Afterwards, can we connect? I'm curious to hear what company developed this and how do they make sure that you can't just approach this company and find out who had what token? Like, is there some kind of mixer Like, how does it even work?
Yeah, it's really great question. I can just dig a little bit that QIC provider was Verif. It's quite a huge QIC provider. They didn't store any data on their servers, so everything was stored on mobile phones. And QIC provider. Basically, yeah, it's better to read because I created the whole article on futurestate.tv about this voting also and how it worked. And but the interesting part is that QIC and zero knowledge proof was not the hardest stuff on this, because the hardest stuff was about SNP and how government tried to make this not happen, and how they try to push a lot of traffic on this, how they try to utilize all their power to not happen this election, and making all other stuff was even more fascinating to make this happen. It will be also a new article in a couple of weeks. I will interview Rarima as a Rarima tool. They have used Freedom tool. It's a big company. They are making also QIC plus zero knowledge proof voting, and they utilize it for Russian election and the Iranian election just a week ago. So they try to use it in real world ways and real world action, and I'm trying to put this on the table because I believe it's something powerful that technology can do right now and right here. So yeah, I will be happy to discuss this also, and you can also read a little bit more because what happened in Belarus was provided by companies that called New Belarus. So it's not a company; it's a non-profit organization, and we provided this company provided app that with connection with people, connection with Belarusian businesses abroad, with medicine abroad, and not only abroad, inside of Belarus. So it's connect different layers to what a state should be, from medicine, from voting, from governments, from connecting people, and etc., etc., etc. So it's kind of different layers and different models how state can operate online. And in near future, I believe on chain also. So yeah, it. I will be happy to discuss it also. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Ray. Actually, I'm trying to. Greg, you have something to say?
I'd love to connect after this. Yeah, if we can connect us, that would be great. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, sure. So basically, kind of trying to kind of summarize things. Like, for example, Fabo a couple of weeks ago reached out to me, telling me that there are some organizations who are interested in this decentralized. Financing, right? So basically, when I say ecosystem, it means everything, right? I mean, finances, voting, political rights, political movements, everything together, like as Ray said, functioning state online. Well, I am Armenian, and you guys understand that we also have been trying this type of things for quite a long time. Like, I mean, even elections, engaging the Armenian diaspora. And I even could speak to some government members in Armenia, but of course, then the war started between Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, then Nagorno-Karabakh issue, and everything. Everything kind of, I mean, stopped. But what I'm trying to say is that if, as Ray mentioned, if we could make this a very big, I mean, global thing, then definitely local projects will benefit a lot. I mean, like Armenian local project, Belarusian local project, I mean, this local project, that local, because this will be under the umbrella of this global ecosystem, which will be the protection itself. This is very important thing, I think, to delineate the current stage that we are in, because for example, let's say, I mean, for example, we have a lot of projects like in Honduras, right? Imagine one day the Honduran government goes and with the army takes over, right? I mean, the place, the very land, right? They're taking over. So things become very hectic and very difficult. So that's why, in my opinion, if you have this big system, then the government, before making a decision, will think twice. I mean, having this type of system in existence is already the most important like a hindrance to this type of violence, because in the end of the day, nation state politics is about power and the right to violence, right? I mean, if we go deep into politics, it's about the right to violence. I mean, to exact power on others, right? So this type of system, global ecosystem, will definitely shake the foundations, because we are talking about finances which are not controlled by banks, which cannot be tackled by Bretton Woods system or whatever we call it now, right? And one of the most, I think, important things is that people who join, or who put themselves, I mean, who bandwagon, would be kind of not only mentally attached but also emotionally attached, because if you are emotionally attached to this type of ecosystem, to this fourth establishment, that is already a big deal. Because if I'm going to make a very tough and very maybe dumb comparison, I mean, how the Roman Empire was shaken by the Christianity, right? I mean, when you come and bring new thing, and people start following you, and they have power, but people listen to you and not to the ones who have power. This is a very important thing, because when we build this type of ecosystem, or the ecosystem is getting built by itself because of us doing different things, and people started attaching themselves emotionally to this ecosystem, I think that will be already the first huge step towards victory, because people will understand that here they feel definitely better and safer than within the current establishment that we are living in. We are going again to have more discussions on these topics. I am again thankful to all of the speakers and those who participated. Joshua, thanks to you as well for the question. And Joshua, by the way, is also working towards building this type of platform for coordinated action. So yeah, I'm absolutely certain that we are going to succeed at some point. Maybe not now, maybe in a year, in 2 years. But the thing is that the process has started already, and the recording will be available maybe in a couple of days with the press release, and it will be shared with you all, and it will be also shared with people who couldn't, I mean, take part in. So thanks a lot again, and let's work together towards very big historical victory, because it is clear that we are in a very big civilizational transition now, and we are going to build something out of chaos. So, because I think that the world is entering into a chaotic stage now, and it also brings some opportunities with itself, and that is where the fourth establishment has to make its say, and to govern the processes, the global processes. Thanks a lot again, and see you soon. See you soon.
Isso. Hasta luego, chao, cuídense.
Thanks, everybody.
Cuídense, hombre.
Thank you. Bye bye.